Good morning everyone. Myself Nilima, working as assistant professor in the Department of CSE, School of Engineering and Technology, Sri Padmavati Mahila Vishwavidyalayam. Today I am going to give lecture on the subject Design and Analysis of Algorithms. The topic name is Performance Analysis. An algorithm is said to be efficient and fast if it takes less time to execute and consumes less memory space. The two things we need to consider is less time and less memory space. First one is what is meant by space complexity. The space complexity of an algorithm is amount of memory space required by an algorithm during the execution. There are three types of space instructions are there: instruction space, data space and environment. Second one is time complexity. The time complexity of an algorithm is total number of time required by an algorithm to complete its execution. Coming to the types of space complexity, there are two types of space complexities: constant space complexity, linear space complexity. What is meant by constant space complexity? A fixed amount of space for all the input values. Here the example shows we need to find out the square value of a. Here algorithm requires fixed amount of space for all the input values. This space complexity is defined as constant space complexity. What is meant by linear space complexity? The space needed for algorithm is based on the size. The size of the variable n is requires 1 word, array of the variables requires n word, the loop variable requires 1 word and the sum requires 1 unit. So total n plus 3 words is the space required for calculate. The space complexity of an algorithm is amount of memory needs to run to complete. And a formula is needed to calculate the space complexity. S of p equal to c plus sp. C is the fixed part and sp is the variable part. Fixed part is nothing but independent of the instance characteristics, whereas variable part is whose size is dependent on the particular problem instance. Example is, if we need to calculate a sum of variables, two variables, the resultant value is stored in the another variable. This is the algorithm we need to write. Algorithm sum of a comma b comma c, a equal to 10, b equal to 20, c equal to a plus b. A will store 1 unit, B will store 1 unit, C will store 1 unit. So the time complexity S of P equal to formula C plus SP. The constant value is 3, the variable part is 0, the space complexity here required is big O of n equal to 3. The same procedure if we have taken in the iterative loop, total equals to 0. For I equals to 1 to n2, for loop will execute total equal to total plus a of I. A of I is nothing but an initially the values. So this is the way how we are calculating the space complexity. The space complexity for a recursive function is written a plus b into tree plus a plus b, like that. If we have given an expression while indicating the values, it requires 3 units of memory space. Coming to the algorithm 2, here an iterative procedure is carried out for calculating the values. It requires n plus 1. Algorithm 3 is given an if condition to check the sum of the values. The algorithm 3 is recursive procedure. So three different ways how we will calculate the space complexity. Coming to this time complexity of an algorithm is the amount of computer time it needs to run to complete the instructions. T of p equal to compile time plus execution time. Whereas linear time complexity means if the input values are increased, then the time complexity will changes. Coming to the memory space acquired by the comments is 0, assignment statement is 1 step, condition statement is 1 step, loop condition for n times means n plus 1 step, body of the loop will takes n steps. So the cost required for calculating repetition is total, the space time complexity here is 4n plus 4. Coming to the variations, how we are giving the execution time means This is the tabular format for each and every statement in an algorithm. What is the frequency and what is the total running time is required for calculating the sum of array values in a given array. So this is the way how we are calculating the space complexity and time complexity. Based upon those two complexities, we are going to decide the performance of an algorithm. Thank you.